You're now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. Hey, my main bitch and my savage man, bitch. I can get 2 for. Rather pull me up on East Pink. I need 2 go.
Tune in to Too Much Media.
Told Dapper Dan he needs to build a fashion house in Harlem. And I gave him the whole blueprint for it.
You told Dapper Dan that? You told Dapper Dan.
Did I stutter? Like,
isn't Dapper Dan older than you? How can you tell Dapper Dan this?
want me to tell you how? You asking the question?
Yes, please tell me. Enlighten me.
Is there a black fashion house?
Is there?
Let me answer you. You don't understand fashion, and it's okay.
No, I trust me. I understand fashion very well.
So then you shouldn't ask the question like that. If you understood fashion, then you should know how I could tell Dapper Dan that, because there's no black fashion houses in existence. There's no black fashion houses in existence on the whole fucking planet. There's no black mills. We have no textile companies. Period. None on the planet. So how could I not tell Dapper Dan that? We don't have no black sweatshops, no nothing. Okay? So we run everything through the Chinese, the Indians. We have nothing. Okay? So what I told Dapper Dan out my mouth is, bro, you can be the face of the first black fashion house, and we could do it in Harlem. And I gave him the whole rundown from top to bottom. Pause. This is real shit, bro. Now, if you sell your soul, if you emasculate yourself, then you don't have the immunity that I have, because I didn't do it with man, I did it with God. I walked.
Hey guys, welcome back to your one-stop shop for all things creative. Where we come here and we just discuss different ways to improve ourselves, to elevate, and to self-master. This is for all our creatives out there. So today I wanted to talk about this thing that I've gone through myself throughout time, and I see as an issue for a lot of other creative people, where it's like you're super creative and you have all these ideas and all these just things that could be profitable, that you tell people all the time. You try to put them on into what they're missing, or you're trying to help other people elevate and other people get to where they want to go in life, and it just feels like nobody listens to you. It seems like if they would just listen to you, so many more people would be further than they are currently. If they just grabbed a hold of the ideas that you have, that you yourself could be further, but other people won't give you an opportunity to help you see your ideas come to light. And I went through this struggle myself, early on of my creative journey, of just feeling frustrated of dang, no one ever listens to me. I told that person to do that and I knew it could have worked, but they never listened. Or I'm the one who originally said this idea. Nobody listened to me. And now look, I see another person did it and it was super successful. Or I've been told this person that this is not good and they need to stop doing this, and they never listened to me, and it went exactly how I thought it would go. And one thing I want to preach today is you have to let go of the idea that you have the correct answer, Because a lot of times as creatives, because we can see things that other people can't see, and we can see through a lot of, of the just noise and the excess fat and all that, we can see through all that and know what the correct answer is. We think that other people are supposed to follow our lead when we tell them about those things. But you have to understand that there's multiple reasons why people are not listening to you. And I just want to go through a couple of the reasons why people are not listening to you when you have ideas, or when you have an answer that is correct. What is that? Why aren't they listening? Why don't they just, follow my lead? I got the answers. And this is especially a Black issue too, halfway, because it's we have a lot of people like this in our community, where they're always talking, they're always telling us about stuff. And, they could be right. They are a lot of times right, but nobody listens to them. And I'll tell you, the number one reason why no one listens to you is because you don't have anything that they want, okay? If you don't seem as though you're somebody that has something that another person wants that they don't yet have, no, they're not going to listen to you. If you're like the local neighborhood guy who's always talking about business or talking about black empowerment or talking about freedom and this, that, and the third, but you're not like, holding on to like a fancy car or super established in the white community or have a really big business that everyone knows. Just something where everyone else is like, dang, I wish I had that. You didn't play in the NBA. Like we wonder a lot of times, especially in this community of like, why is it that all the black leaders are people who shouldn't be black leaders. They're NBA players and like actors and musicians and rappers. It's like, why are these the people who are like used to like lead the black community? These people don't know anything about anything. They don't know what, our past stripes were or have the education needed to preach some of the problems that we need solved and things of that nature. Like, why are these the people? Well, if you think about it, who are the people that the rest of us wish we were? We wish we were a rapper or an actor or a famous model or an athlete or one of those positions that we are judging, you know, mainstream media for using these people as voices in the black community. But the thing is, the people who have a good voice in the black community who could tell us the real truth about what we should be up to and what we need to say yes versus no to, a lot of those type of people don't really have anything that the rest of us want. Like they're not doing anything that the rest of us want to do. The rest of us don't want to preach all day. The rest of us don't want to struggle with money all the time. Like those type of people are oftentimes not doing what we commercially look at as success. So if you're looking around and you have the best ideas, you have the best concepts, you have an answer to a lot of the problems that people are always coming to you with, but every time you give them a solution, they never just listen to you. I'm going to tell you right now, that's why. The reason is because you don't have anything that they're looking for. Like you're not like, touching the stuff that they feel like if they were jealous of you, if they had some sort of thing where they were like, ooh, damn, I can't wait till the day I have that. Like this person, if you don't have anything that they tell themselves that about, they're never going to listen to you. So if that's the number one reason why, as a creative, no one listens to you is because you haven't reached a mainstream or commercial amount of success. I know that's kind of like blunt and that's kind of like a bit like, well, damn, that's not right and stuff, but that's just the reality. Like if you're not, I understand as a creative, we have to live in a little bit of a la la land, but like there's a level of delusion that we also need to avoid and stop ourselves from entering because it'll stop you from making tweaks and doing the right things to actually see the parts of the delusion that you have that you want to see come to fruition. It's like, bro, that's why they're not listening to you. Another reason that people don't listen to you is because they don't want to give you credit, okay? They don't want for what you said to work and for it to be right. And then they have to come back and say, you're the one who said it. You're the one who told me, or you're the one who was right all along and things like that. It's like a lot of times people will avoid doing something that they know is right just to be able to prove you wrong. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So they'll never do the right thing or go through with the idea that is clearly $1 million idea that's coming from you because in their head they're resentful of the concept of that you're the one who brought it to them, that you're the one who were able to see such an obvious answer, see such an obvious thing. That might be a reason why a lot of times people who you're giving good ideas, you're just throwing it to them. They just don't want it from you. Like you're the problem, you're the issue. It's just like, ugh, if someone else had told me that, I would have listened, even if that person wasn't better off than me. If I just don't want you to be the answer. I don't know who that person is for you or who those people are, but sometimes you might have to come to the conclusion as a creative that there's certain people who just won't listen to you because it's you. And you have to acknowledge that, know that, and be okay with the idea of not giving people who won't respect it your ideas. You have to find people who are okay with good ideas coming from you and don't resent the idea that you have an idea. Okay. So, yeah, that might be another reason why people don't listen to you when you're coming up with ideas. A third reason is the way you go about giving people ideas. Your tone and your delivery might be bad. Like, look at this guy Smart, for example. I put that clip in the beginning of him saying that he's the one who told Dapper Dan to do the textiles. And we have a lot of people like him in our community who like love to like preach to people as though they are God himself reincarnated. Like, I'm the one. See, you might not know about fashion. Do you see how he tried to undermine the other guy? And the minute he did that, I feel like in that moment, I could see him lose the other guy. Obviously, we couldn't see the other guy. He was off camera. But in that moment, like just saying one condescending thing while you're trying to get your point across to people can lose them from being on your side or taking your way or your route. The minute you start being a bit condescending and things like that, you can kind of spiritually see them check out. Where it's like, oh, this nigga think he can play with me, or he thinks he's better than, or he thinks he's this or that. It's kind of like from now on, any chance they can get to counter things you say, they'll take that opportunity. So they'll just be waiting for a chance to be like, nah, that's not true. Or nah, that's not. They'll always be waiting for a chance to counter you now because you made them feel like a little kid for 10 seconds. A lot of people have very shallow and fragile egos. Their egos is held on by toothpicks and glue. Remember those little gumdrop toothpick structures you used to have to make when you were in math class as a kid, and they would tell you to build a cube, build a pyramid, build all these little things out of marshmallows or gumdrops and toothpicks. Yeah, that's how a lot of people's egos are built. They don't take time to get drills and nails and wood and cement and all that kind of stuff and slowly build themselves up to the point where a small little wind or blow can't um break apart their ego. A lot of them make it out of toothpicks and gumdrops and marshmallows. So it's like you need to be careful with your delivery as a creative when you're trying to get what you want to happen to happen. You need to be very strategic, slow, aware. What type of person is this? Will they listen to me in the first place? Should I save my breath? Like, you need to be taking into account every single time you have something that you want to get done of how you're going about telling people. Tell people very carefully. Sometimes you might need to even sometimes act like you want the opposite of what you want to happen just for people to do it. Like your delivery of how you tell people what idea you want to get out is going to be make or break as to whether or not it actually happens. This guy is yelling at everybody saying he's the one who came up with the whole Dapper Dan coming out with his own fashion house and build it here in Harlem. And I broke it down to him and I told him, I'm like, I don't even know what Dapper Dan's response is to him being the one who told him. But think about even you yourself as a creative. If you own a business, like if you're a creative person with a business, like this is something I've witnessed firsthand of like people will come to you about your business that you're running by yourself and try to tell you what you need to do to improve or change your business, not realizing or understanding just how hard it is and how many, triumphs you go through every single day just to keep the business up and running. They're going to come to you and tell you, hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. Build a fashion house. Da-da-da-da, as if you can just wake up tomorrow and build a fashion house. Or they don't even know what your creative vision is. Maybe you're saying you're complaining about textiles and all these things. Maybe I don't even want one. Maybe I don't even care about the fact that the Black community doesn't have textiles or a fashion house. I might be the wrong person for you to tell to go do this. I've been in this game for how many years? If I really wanted that, you think you're the first person smart just because you named yourself smart that who's ever told me that I should build a fashion house? You think you're the first person to say that? Like, a lot of times as creatives too, we have to realize that just because you're creative doesn't mean other people aren't. Like, any idea you have, 10,000 other people have had the exact same idea. You're not the first person to come up with the wheel. You didn't come up with fire. Your name is not Prometheus. Like, all of these things, it's like oftentimes as creatives, we sometimes think that our ideas are so magical and one of a kind because they're one of a kind to us. You yourself are one of a kind. You're one of one. So it's one of one idea to you, but other people might have already heard that concept. It's not that special to them. Or like the way you see it coming to fruition is not the way they're seeing it. I know a lot of times as a creative, I come up with ideas and I tell people stuff and they're like, nah, that's trash. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. And then I ignore them and I go do it myself. And then once they see it actually with their own eyes that it worked and it could be done, they're like, oh, I wasn't even seeing it like that. Wow, no, this is actually so cool. And then they hop on board. And I've learned to take my emotions out of things where it's like, I don't get upset because they didn't see the vision before I saw the vision. I knew I was right. So I went ahead, I got it done. And now that it's done, they're like, oh, you were right. But what if I had stopped when I told them the idea and they were like, and they shit on me. And then I just was like, all right, so then I guess it won't work. It's like you have to be okay with the idea that no one else is gonna want your ideas to come to life but you. That you might have to do it all by yourself. So Smart, for example, is yelling at Dapper Dan to go build a fashion house. You over here talking about, oh, you don't know much about fashion. That's why he could be the face of this. He could be the face of that. It's like, Smart, dude, you talking about he don't know that much fashion. Since you know so much about fashion, you go build a fashion house. You don't need Dapper Dan to be the face of it. If Dapper Dan sees that your fashion house is doing well, and he likes how you come up with it, trust me, he'll come and try to and put his name into it some way or somehow, regardless of him being attached to it in the beginning or the end. Sometimes the people you want to help you build your idea are not going to show up till the end of the build. Okay? Sometimes you want a brand new house and you have to build the house first and then invite people over to the house. You can't just invite people to the construction part of the house while you're still building the house and talking about yeah, everyone grab a piece of wood and a drill. Let's help me build this house. No, they're going to want you to build the house completely first. And then they'll come to the housewarming and they'll bring a couple plants and maybe a couple pieces of furniture and some, kitchenware, things like that. They'll help you add in and decor the house, but they will not help you put the wood planks together and the installation. Yeah, the installation. It's like we need to be honest with ourselves as to why our ideas are not going to the level of which they should be and why our ideas are not coming up into life as they should be as well. We need to be realistic about what those reasonings are. And this attitude that Smart has about the fashion house is something I see often in creatives that we need to address, and you need to be honest with yourself about of like whether or not you do these things, because that might be what's stopping you. Because I see Smart on a lot of different podcasts and I've watched him speak to a few times before, and I think he's a quite eloquent speaker and he has a lot of good points and he has a great message that a lot of people need to hear and could help them in their lives. Like if people truly listen to him, we honestly would be way further as a community. However, I think that a lot of times the way he goes about getting his message across is what might be stopping him to getting it across to a level of which he wants it to get to. Like he might not be reaching the levels he wants to, even though he's reaching the type of message he wants to, like he might be getting, he might be seeing forward motion every day, little by little, but it's like we might be able to hop and leap instead of tiptoe if you maybe had a better way about getting these things across. Now, we also have to take into account that Smart from New York. This is how New Yorkers are. They're quite aggressive and forward with trying to get stuff from people. So it's like, I give him grace in that sector, but I do feel like he's a good case study of what's going on with us creatives and why is it, because I feel that same frustration that I can see from him of like, I remember I used to always have like these great ideas that I would tell people like, oh no, we should do like this. Oh, if we marketed it like this, it could be like this. Oh, if we did this, blah, blah, blah. I always will have something new. Like my ideas for me, it's like nothing. I can always come up with one and one that will work. And I would just notice like people will just take me for idiot. Like they really don't take me serious as I take myself. And after a while, I had to get over it and just be like, you know what? They don't take you seriously, so you take yourself seriously. You understand that you know, because the thing is, I would see that my ideas are right because within a little while, I would see it work for someone else that I gave the idea to a different person and they wouldn't use it. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm not wrong, but it's just like people are incapable of like just taking it serious from me. And I also realized after a while, I had to come to the fact of like, what have you done in your life to make these people want to drop everything and listen to your ideas? Like, what's your credentials here? So that's something too you might have to look at. It's like, what is your credentials? A lot of times people are not going to want to listen to you with no credentials, okay? If you don't have something that they can look at and look up to and be proud of, they might not want to listen to you. So once I realized, one, boo, you don't have credentials. Two, they might not really like you as much as you think they like you, and they don't want ideas that come from you. Three, how are you coming across with your message? Like, how are you telling these people? Are you acting better than and up and mighty? Or are you like, regardless of how you're behaving, like, is it the way that they need it to be told? And then four, of like, you're so busy giving out ideas to these people. Are you listening to your own advice too? Because that's something you need to take into question. It's like, you're always giving people ideas. When the ideas for yourself, have you been listening to yourself and getting them out as to the rate as which you could or should? It's like, that's the thing about credentials. Because if you were listening to your own ideas and they were as great as you claim they are, wouldn't you now already have the credentials? So once I came to terms with that, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to focus on me. I'm not giving out ideas anymore. I'm not telling people what they should or shouldn't do. If I see that their business could be doing better and that there's something that they could change, unless I can change it right there in that moment immediately, or I can like have some sort of effect right now, I'm not saying eep. I'm not doing oop. I'm not giving out any ideas. Like it's just like a thing where now I also realize that sometimes as a creative, your ideas are valuable and God is protecting your ideas and your value from being decreased by having it thrown out everywhere for people who aren't deserving of them. Okay. So sometimes too, you need to look at yourself as so valuable that your ideas are secrets. Okay. The things you come up with and the way you think of getting them done is a valuable and super lucrative approach. Not everyone gets to know this approach. Not everyone gets to do this approach. You are the one who the concept was given to by higher consciousness. So you take it and you keep it and you keep the value in it by not letting other people decrease its value, by making you feel like it wasn't worth what it's actually worth. So once I realized that too, it's like now I hold on to my ideas. Now I hold on to my concepts. And when I have them, I start to work on them for myself. Because it's like you might have $1 million idea. You're giving away $1 million then by giving away the idea. That you need to associate your ideas with money. You need to associate your ideas with value. When people start to notice that you see your own ideas as so valuable and you won't give them out, then the day that you do give them idea, they'll be like, ooh, and she don't even give out ideas like that. This is a valuable idea. I realized too that people weren't seeing value in my ideas because I wasn't seeing value in them. I felt like I can come up with the ideas any day, anytime. And so I'll give them out willy nilly. And now because I'm giving it out willy nilly, it's like, oh yeah, she's giving them out willy nilly. That means they're just willy nilly things. But now I see my own ideas as extremely valuable and as an extreme waste of time to give to people, and I hold on to them. So in the moment where I do decide to give out an idea, and the moment I do decide to help people push forward, they see what I have to say as valuable. And if I don't see that they think that my concepts or ideas are valuables, then I don't give it, because they are valuable and they're precious. And me keeping that energy for myself could make me more money, make me more successful, and give me the credentials that we all so eagerly need, you know? But I don't know. That is just something I noticed. I feel as though a lot of us go through that. I have many more points about this. I'll probably make more videos regarding this topic in the future. But it's just like, keep your artistry and your creativity valuable by giving it out less, okay? Be more close to the chest. Be more strategic. Be more eyeful. Like, we as creatives need to be more strategic and add logic and, like, long-term plans to our creativity. Don't be so quick to allow people to decrease your value. And I feel like when Smart goes around, running around, yelling at people about how he came up with this and he's the one who told this guy to do that and he's the one who da 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 da, he decreases his own value by throwing that out there, because now people are looking for a way to shit on him, and that's what they're gonna utilize. And also Dapper Dan is old. Dapper Dan been in the game of fashion. You're telling this guy, oh, you don't know nothing about fashion, that's why. But it's like, when you come up to Dapper Dan telling him to build a fashion house, that's what he thinks about you. He's like, you don't know nothing about fashion to be telling me that. He's way older than you. He's been in fashion for way longer than you. How are you the one giving Dapper Dan ideas? Do you think that Dapper Dan never sat around and thought to himself, damn, it would be cool to have a fashion house though? Like, let's be for real, Smart. You didn't come up with that. Like, it's like sometimes we just think way too highly of ourselves. Be realistic, It's like, what do you think Dapper Dan thinks when you tell him something like that? And he's been doing fashion since before you were born. He's literally an icon in fashion. He's literally one of the original designer creators, identifiers with designer items. You think designer and fashion and urban legend, you think Dapper Dan. So how are you telling Dapper Dan stuff like this? Like, know your audience, I don't want to tangent on forever because I feel like my point was made, but yeah.